So one of the challenging things, I know this message is going to come across in a very kind of negative tone, but it's with all possible, um, just wisdom, just pure wisdom, is grow slow and don't trust people. Um, my wife and I kind of have this sort of belief that most people are pretty flighty. And it's true. If you sort of interact for a long time, you'll begin to realize like if somebody stays at something for more than a year, that's what we sort of call flighty, is that they stay with it for a couple of months. Um, that that is an extraordinary thing if somebody stays with something for more than a year, right? Like if they are actually sticking with something, doing with something, that is really weird. And I want you all to sort of realize this, that most people, it doesn't matter what profession, what you're doing, they're flighty, right? Like they're very flighty. This is human tendencies to sort of chase things that are shiny, right? Like you probably have heard that saying before, where you chase shiny objects. And we have a tendency to do that as human beings more broadly. So I kind of have a somewhat of a implicit policy in my brain is to grow slow and don't trust anybody. And I've become so it's become such a good heuristic because it saved me so much heartache over the years. But when I don't do that and I rush into things and I do things very quickly, um, yes, it seems like I get things done right very quickly. You know, it's like it's almost always too good to be true when that happens. When you're going quickly and things are sort of sorting itself out, um, almost immediately, it almost results in a painful experience in the future. And so the best policy is to grow slow, always, always. What it doesn't matter the domain, let it naturally happen. And I think even within, if you look at the research on mergers and acquisitions, most mergers and acquisitions destroy value because they're going too quickly. If you look at sort of the way that the venture capital industry works, where you try to raise as much funds as possible, you end up getting burnt in the long run because you're racing too quickly and you're spending through funds. So if you just look at all domains, if you're looking at investing, your own personal investing, um, you'll realize that, man, if I rush this thing, and if you're looking for a quick win and above average returns, you almost always get burnt. So go with the slow tendency. Like if you look around and you see people that have done things like substantial, right? It takes 50 years, it takes 60 years, and they do it um, regardless, right? And they have this basic policy in their mind, right? If you look at, say, Warren Buffett or somebody like that, it's almost always just grow slow and don't trust anybody, right? Like it's always this, just take your time, one thing at a time. Don't get all rushed up and all of that kind of stuff. Don't pay attention to the outside world of what everybody is saying, and just do those one little wee step. And the challenge is sort of exercising that muscle of not listening to other people, right? Where you are, people will inevitably say, "Hey, well, why don't you do this and why don't you do that? This is a wonderful opportunity to do this kind of stuff." Don't listen to it. Just grow slow with the resources that you have and keep going, and just take one more step every single day. Now, if I would have got, so for example, this whole reciprocity project, if I would have gotten venture capital, I would have been very desperate, and I probably would have shut down this venture a long time ago because they have significant returns that they have to meet within a year. And often that's just impossible to meet with the structure of the way sort of society works, right? So whether it's building the platform that we're building, that just takes a long time. I'd have to hire a whole bunch of people, and then I'd have to coordinate how to do this. Whether it is, building an audience, like all of those kind of things are just naturally slow processes that you can't speed up. You can't rush, and you will talk to almost everybody. Like it's anybody that's done anything of substance, right? Like you've done a real thing. Um, when you talk to them, it's almost always the same answer: grow slow and just basically grow as slow as you possibly can, and don't trust anybody because that just people are flighty, naturally flighty, and be um, you can't sort of set yourself up for that, right? That people will eventually do something, and then when they do, right, if you're growing slow, you're just like, okay, all right, well, let's find out a solution. Let's find somebody that will do this, right? And you take another sort of stab at it. You find another person, and you just keep doing that, right? The process is just slow, tedious work all the time, and consistently doing it. And if you do that for a long, long time, good things happen. But it just takes so long, and you have to be okay with that. And I think that's the important message that I wanted to say. It's just grow slow and don't trust anybody. It's a good policy that you should have in your mind, because people are flighty. They do all sorts of stuff. You don't know a priority beforehand. You don't know who's actually a crook or who's not. And it takes years and years and years to develop that trust. Even still, the people that I've interacted with for years and years and years, I still kind of don't trust them, because bad things have happened, and you kind of begin to realize, like, wait a minute, um, not everybody is good inside. Not everybody's looking out for their interests. They're looking out for their own interests, not yours. And so you grow slow, take your time, do things methodically, slowly, until it actually happens. And when it happens, it doesn't even feel like anything. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.